Oh no, someone's got some evidence that debunks the Apollo program and proves that we never went to the moon. I wonder who that could be. That's right, none other than the myopic moron expat Taffy. Now, he's produced numerous videos apparently debunking the Apollo moon missions. They all have snappy titles. Tell us about one, Taffy.
Title of this video: More NASA Fakery Exposed. The One-Legged Astronaut.
You heard it right. He proved that we didn't go to the moon because there's a photo of an astronaut with one leg.
The lower section of that photo brightened up for you to see. No leg and the cart.
Yes, Taffy couldn't envisage the possibility that the astronaut might have, at the moment of the photo, have had a bent leg, despite the fact that the shadow of the entire leg is shown. He also suffers greatly from pareidolia. Tell us about that, Taffy.
Now, what I can see is two round white eyeballs with black pupils in the centre. I can see a nose. I can see a top lip. I can see a bottom lip. I can see a mouth. I can see a set of teeth, and you can count them. There are 5. Now, this is a rock that's supposed to be on the moon.
Oh dear. Well, what about something a bit more mechanical?
Now, plain to see, you can see a black round section. It's on a base plate, and you've got some object on the top. And it didn't take me long to figure out what this was, folks.
Oh, we're all waiting, Taffy, in anticipation.
It's a 12-volt mini compressor, a tyre inflator.
Right, a tyre inflator, despite the fact that the lunar rover didn't actually have tyres. And if they were trying to fake this, do you not think that they perhaps would have hidden this tyre inflator? Because tyre inflators and compressors in general require air to compress, and there's not a lot of that on the moon.
There you are, folks. On the left, a 12-volt mini air compressor, and you can see the similarities in the object on the right.
Perhaps, Taffy, we should move on to your new video, where you have some slam dunk evidence showing that we didn't go to the moon. What's the cracking title this time?
Welcome to another video by the brilliant expat Taffy titled Fake Moon Landing. This fake lem never landed on the moon.
Okay, well, crack on with the photos.
What I'm going to do for you now is crop around the unloaded gear that's got a sheet over it. There you are. I've cropped around it and enlarged it.
Well, your technical abilities continue to astound.
And I'm going to show you something very special in the next photo, because this being 11864, the gear should be exactly the same in the next photo 11599, shouldn't it? But is it the same? Let's have a look, shall we? Well, what I'm going to show you here is this gear. It's supposed to be the same lem, just a different photo number. The gear is different.
Well, the fact that there's some different gear there, I don't think proves anything. The photos are taken a few seconds apart, or a minute or two apart, and the astronauts have moved some stuff around. You're going to need to do better than that.
But look what we've got here, folks. Why would they need a battery charger on the moon, folks? What would they be doing with a battery charger on the moon where there's no power outlet to plug it into?
Perhaps they need it to recharge their iPhones.
Yes, folks, a battery charger. And here it is. Now, what you're going to have with all the numbskulls? Ah, that's not a battery charger at all, you stupid idiot.
That's not a battery charger, you stupid Sorry.
Just like they said with the air compressor. It's not an air compressor. Well, take a look at this photo coming up. Now, folks, what we've got here is a modern battery charger. I was searching the net, searching eBay.
High IQ research on eBay.
Wondering if I could locate the battery charger that's displayed on this Apollo LEM photo. But this is the nearest I could come up with.
I'm not entirely convinced that NASA purchased all their equipment on eBay.
Anybody dispute that this is a battery charger? Look at these 9 buttons it got on the left. Look at the switches on the right. And look at the little window. And look at the 2 cables, red and black. Now, take a look at these 2 combined. There you are. What I've done here for you is that modern battery, the yellow one. Put it alongside the one outside the LEM.
Taffy, have you considered a career in graphic design or perhaps video editing?
Now, notice one same feature is the 9 buttons on the left on the yellow one. You've got those 9 buttons on the left on the big one from the LEM.
Is it?
That's one thing. The 2 top red arrows on the yellow charger showing the 2 battery cables. And you can see on the right, you can see the 2 battery cables underneath.
So, is anybody convinced yet?
Now, look what we've got here. We've got the same item, the same battery charger from 2 different Apollo 15 LEM photos. And you can see that the face of it has been covered up with maybe some film or something. You can't see the details of the battery charger on it. But the one on the right is completely clear. Now, there it is again. The one on the left, you can see it's definitely been covered up to hide the details of the battery charger. Now, if that wasn't a battery charger, why would they go to this trouble of trying to cover it up, folks?
So, Taffy, you have assumed that as this object is covered up with some sort of film, they must have been trying to hide a battery charger. Now, if it was a battery charger and they wanted to hide it, why didn't they just pick it up and move it out of the way? Now, when I first saw the photo, the first thing that leapt out to my mind was, that looks like one of those aluminium cases that photographers use. Now, you have already exhausted the internet, or at least eBay, looking for this object, so I thought I would use Google. For my very first search effort, I selected Apollo Moon Equipment Case. The first result that came up was this: the Apollo Lunar Sample Return Container. Let's have a close look at that. Well, that looks interesting, doesn't it? I think we need to examine this. Well, here's your Apollo 15 photograph with astronaut Jim Irwin and your battery charger. Let's have a closer look at that. Now, that is quite interesting, isn't it? Let's look closer and compare. There we go. Now, there are lots of similarities, but it's not entirely the same. Perhaps that's because my photo is of the case closed. Let's look at it open. Now, that is very interesting, isn't it, Taffy? You've got the same 4 clipping lock points across the top. You've got the T-shaped handle. You've got the locking bar across the centre. You've got 2 clips at the bottom. You've even got your 9 buttons as rows of text. I'd say that's pretty slam dunk. Now, Taffy, I think I would have to describe you as a complete and utter doorknob. What I've found is the audio recording of the transmissions that were made at the time of that photograph of yours, alongside the transcript. I have just edited out some of the pauses, and we're going to play 2 excerpts, so we'll jump from one time point to another. Let's see what they're talking about.
Okay, Joe, I'm checking the contents of SRC bag number 1.
SCB, sample collection bag number 1. That is what Jim Irwin is filling up in your photograph.
Okay, Jim.
See, bag number 2 looks like all the contents there we leave here.
Roger.
Get the bag under the seat and the samples under the seat. Okay, Joe, I took all the samples out of bag 4, put in SRC in bag number 1.
Okay.
Now I'm going to put bag 1 in the SRC.
Yep, he's going to place the samples that he's got
Attaboy.
in bag number 1 into the sample return container.
It'll fit.
Well, Taffy, I think I have to say that that's a debunking you'll never forget. I'm sure that even your subscribers would have called you out on it. Let's have a look. Expat Taffy, you are indeed a genius. Great work. Totally conclusive, in my opinion. What about your other subscriber? They missed you, didn't they? Good to have you back, Taffy. Cheers, mate. Where have you been, mate? Hi, mate. Glad to see you back. As for me, I lost my sight. I was blind. A couple of months ago, I had this laser surgery on my right eye, and it is great. Sight fully restored in that eye. It was expensive, though. 1,000 quid. I think I would have to say that £1,000 was not very well spent, Taffy, because you can't see anything. If you think you can, why don't you debunk this picture of Jesus? Careful though, don't make a dog's ass of that as well.